Whoops, I'm just hallucinating a wooden horse in the middle of the shrine. Don't mind me.
It's awful tiny. You think it's for kids, maybe?
Toy horses are only rarely made for adults, so yes.
But what's a toy doing here inside the Shrine of Trials?
How would I know? Seems unlikely it's related to the trial.
It just bugs me.
Maybe it's some kind of hint. Toy horse, horses, horse and buggy.
Carrots, horse meat, horse burgers, horse waffles, horse cream cones. Crap. Now I'm hungry and yucked out.
The dread overthinking a non sequitur trap of the ancients. Tremble before their mastery of psychological torture.
It looked terrifying, but I've never seen a Hellion so timid.
That's to be expected.
The Minotauros is a manifestation of the collective emotions of those who have been tortured and abused. This accounts for the anger it displays in all situations.
So, like, it rages at people to avoid the feeling of being raged at?
A case of misplaced anger, huh?
Wouldn't kill it to do a little reflection. The Minotauros was born from the spirits of children. Hard to wrap my head around it.
What could those kids have been doing in a place like this?
Ever since the Age of Chaos began, more and more Hellions have been pitiable types like that one.
You don't say. They must have been children whose parents didn't want them.
You mean they were abandoned children?
That's probably what this place is for, to most people in the area. A gruesome tradition indeed.
The parents could disavow their own flesh and blood like that. It's unconscionable. Even though we weren't his own flesh and blood, Gramps still took us in and raised us as his own.
Yeah, it's hard to even think about.
Hey, come on. Buck up.
That's right. You saved them in the end, didn't you? You did something good in the world.
Yeah.
It's gotten into you, Edna. You're being nice.
It's not like I can't admit when I'm wrong, you know. Unlike some people, I'm an adult.
Is that a fact?
Something tells me Alicia actually wishes she could go with us, deep down.
Huh?
Just a vibe I got. Hey, Alicia used to be your squire, right? Why did she leave?
Well, I wouldn't say she left. She just had her own goals, and
I think she did want to go with us, but her resonance just wasn't quite up to snuff.
The backlash was damaging Saray.
He was losing his heat.
Oh dear. So that's why... Wait a minute, what about now? You're not hiding anything from me, are you?
not at all. I swear.
Your resonance is powerful enough to enact armatization. It's right on par with the Shepherds.
Is it really? I guess I'd better be grateful for my resonance.
Grateful, huh?
Entrance to the ruin's supposed to be really well hidden, right?
We better be extra diligent in our search. Alicia's cleared a suspicion, right?
You mean the suspicion that she was communicating secretly with the Roland's Empire?
Yeah. I heard that she got arrested for that.
It was probably just a false accusation to lure you into war.
Yeah, and we kept our promise. They have no reason to keep her detained.
I hope you're right.
But the situation is different than before.
Huh?
I'd imagine so. There was that clash with the Roland's Empire, you know?
So, if she'd seek peace with them in this situation...
It would only make things worse for her.
Too bad she's not the type to just sit patiently in times like this.
Alicia is part of the royal family. The Chancellor shouldn't be able to do anything so brazen.
I sure hope so.
Mushrooms! Are they safe to eat?
The ones closest to you are okay, but stay away from the ones in the back.
You got it.
Wow. How do you know all that?
It's just common knowledge.
This forest, it's so rich and abundant with life.
Yeah, that's the power of Gramps' blessed domain.
Oh, so it's Gramps' domain that makes it feel this way?
It's a sizable amount of power. Even among high-ranking Seraphim, there are very few on his level.
That's Gramps for you. Anyone comes by who's up to no good, they get zapped in the butt with lightning. Pow!
He can wield lightning?
Yep, he lights up the sky like fireworks.
I sure remember fireworks when it came to him and you.
Well, figuratively.
Oh, and that explains all the mushrooms.
Huh?
Oh, right! Where Monday's lightning strikes the ground, Tuesday's mushrooms will be found.
Aha! So we have Saray to thank for this harvest.
Hey! No, it wasn't like that.
Huh? Unbelievable.
What's wrong?
Shh, it's nothing. Keep still.
Whoa, check out that beetle!
Be quiet! Don't you know what that is?
What is it?
An aroundite stag beetle.
Is that good?
It's incredibly rare. Atlas beetles die within a year, but stag beetles can survive the winter months with a typical lifespan of 3 years. This one in particular has remarkable tolerance to cold. It can be packed in snow on all sides and still not freeze to death. Some have been known to last for over a decade. They were thought to have gone extinct 100 years ago or so. I've only heard them whispered in legend before today.
Whoa, neat! The phantom beetle!
Understand? So be quiet.
Right. Don't want it to get away.
It already did, while Deza was blabbing on and on about it.
It what?
Blame it.
Weren't they just talking about us?
Looks like it.
Why don't we ask?
Nick Leo,
I guess we shouldn't eavesdrop on their conversation.
if Gramps has something to tell us, he'll tell us straight up.
Yeah, same with Lila.
That's a whole bunch of Norman we found.
Yes, an abnormal amount.
But I gotta say, their abilities really are helpful. Why does everyone leave them alone?
Yeah, you'd think there would be droves of Seraphim asking for their help.
Long ago, there was in fact an enormous demand for them. They were booked up for months at a time.
So why are they just wandering around now?
One day their leader, rose up against the extreme work conditions, demanding autonomy for Norman Seraphim, plus a significant raise in wages. He called on the other Norman to join the fight for independence.
A Norman revolt?
Were there many casualties?
None. The only one pushing for independence was the leaderish fellow. The others were simply like,
We don't mind helping, but it'd be real sweet if we could get maybe a 300-year break between crunch time.
and that was more or less that.
So easy going. But that's Norman.
And what happened to the leader?
Well, that's a whole nother...
After a protracted battle with another Seraph, he lost and was never seen again. Or so the story goes.
Huh. So Norman have their own history too.
Lila, I get, but you sure know a lot about Norman, Edna. You really must like them a whole...
I just hear rumors, that's all.
Hey, isn't this an Earthen Historia?
Oh, that. That was a donation from someone in the city. It looks rather rare and precious, so we've been unsure whether we should sell it.
Nice! Good call, Mr. Priestman.
Huh? Oh, thank you.
Father Brunor, we're actually collecting these.
You think we could have this? We'd pay for it, of course.
No, please, that's not necessary. If it's something the shepherd needs on his quest, by all means, please take it. I'm sure the donor would be overjoyed to know that their gift had been some help to the shepherd.
Thank you, Father Brunor. Wow, I never knew there were once so many shepherds, all using their purification powers on Hellions.
So the question is, why and how did they disappear?
What do you think?
If the existence of so many shepherds depended on Mautellus, then...
When Mautellus disappeared, so did all of them.
Isn't it too early to judge conclusions?
Well, what other possibilities are there?
Maybe humans abandoned their faith in Seraphim to the extent that shepherds just ceased to exist.
Perhaps the large crowd of shepherds we saw was just a historical anomaly.
Maybe only people like Saray can be shepherds, and there's just fewer nice guys in the world these days.
Huh, so there's plenty of other possibilities.
I guess that means we have to keep collecting information.
Yes, if you do that, you will surely arrive at your answer.
Bunch of hopeless delinquents. Those street kids in Lady Lake.
Well, if societies abandon them, I don't know. Is there any other way for them to survive besides a life of crime?
It is a sad era we...
Give me a break. If you have to do wrong to trudge onward, you do so knowing the burden of that wrong. You hide that dark shadow within yourself and keep pressing on. Those kids weren't like that. They just went astray.
Hey, don't look at me when you say that.
Rose, so those are the things you have to think about, huh?
I don't think, I just do. Ugh, let's stop talking about this.
You mean you're just spontaneous? That's awesome.
Yes. No matter the circumstances, it's up to each person to decide how she wants to live her life and for what she must be held accountable. But Rose understands that instinctively, without thinking. Very impressive.
Seriously, can we change the subject?
Maybe the experience of abandonment will get those kids to realize the importance of responsibility. Thanks to you guys pointing them in the right direction.
I hope so.
Yeah.
If it were that easy, the Age of Chaos would be over already.
Here. It's fresh from the oven.
Hey, Madeline's! Thanks, Dezel.
No need to thank me. Eat up.
Okay. Hey, Dezel, these taste really similar to the ones I make. Why is that?
Who knows? It's a coincidence.
Do coincidences like that even exist?
You seem to be bothered about something. What's wrong, Rose?
It's not a big deal, but how Dezel makes Madeline's is really similar to how I make Madeline's. I wonder why.
It must be a coincidence.
Is it really? Isn't it strange how even our secret ingredient, orange juice, matches?
It's common knowledge among skilled Madeline makers to use orange juice as the secret ingredient.
What?
It's not only limited to Madeline's. Each kind of sweets has its own ideal ratio of secret ingredients to put in. If you want to master the art of cooking, it's very important to assess the ideal secret ingredient.
Okay.
Never thought Dezel would have been so knowledgeable about sweets.
That was killer, Lila. You were in perfect harmony.
He was quite skilled despite his youth.
Yeah, compared to him.
You've still got a long way to go.
Lila, I wish I could go on a journey like that with you.
Saray.
Excuse you, Saray.
Huh?
Yes. This journey now is every bit as enjoyable as it was back then. Thanks to everyone here.
Being a princess sure sounds rough.
Nations and politics are like an entwined spiderweb full of people's desires. If you are too full of ideals, you'll be entangled in the web instantly.
But still, I don't want to say that Alicia's completely wrong.
Especially since we know the reason why she's been working so hard.
In times like these, Alicia's straightforwardness is a truly valuable asset. However, a sword that is too hard can break easily.
True, and besides, Alicia does make sound arguments.
Isn't that a good thing?
It's like, you know how if someone pointed out your wrongdoings, it really hits you? You'd probably get discouraged, or even snap.
They're only human after all.
Meaning that by pushing her sharp reasoning on others, it causes cognitive dissonance and turns people against her. So that's it.
Even though she's right, she's met with hostility. And she faces her challengers straight on, which in turn only brings forth even more hostility.
So that's why she worries so.
What a pain.
I'm sure it's tough on her.
However, I don't think Alicia's feelings are completely misguided. Though we may need to assess the situation to know for sure.
Alicia isn't the only one. I need to see for myself as well.
These traps aren't working. They're all busted.
Serves him right, the creepy eyeball things.
We can rest for a bit.
It'd be a miracle if they had been working. These date all the way back to the Temperance of Everost.
Here we go again. In English, that means...
So, the era known as the Temperance of Everost was when Seraphic civilization reached its peak.
A great many buildings and artifacts from those times were crafted using the power of seraphic arts.
So the era of wiggy magic everywhere, basically. We're talking ages and ages ago?
Yeah, older than even Edna.
Saray.
Yow!
It's thought that the Temperance preceded the era of the gods, but not a great deal is known for certain. Many vital records were lost during the age known as the Dark Period.
But these Shrines of Trials have preserved relics of things that could only have been made by Seraphim. They're precious evidence that the Temperance of Avarost really and truly happened.
Even a bunch of weird-ass eyeballs can be a treasure if you've got the right mindset, huh?
Yeah, you can't fathom the true meaning of legends until you've seen their history with your own eyes, so to speak.
Ha! It's like Maven when you say that.
Indeed, the face of a hopeless romantic.
A charitable way to say naive simpleton.
Hey, you think Azura is really a Hellion?
Yes, I can feel its malevolence and domain.
Think it's a fake or something?
Well, I mean, isn't it kind of strange? Why would they let a dangerous Hellion like that roam around freely?
Why would a Protector Seraph just leave it be?
Yeah, they're supposed to be powerful, high-ranked Seraphim, right?
It probably has to do with the trial. Protector Seraphim are given special tasks.
Sounds like a pretty convenient excuse.
Yeah, I can't say that it isn't.
You don't way.
You should know too. Seraphim aren't exactly models of virtue.
They're not exactly heroes of justice either.
Well, that's...
Sold! You two sure sound so convincing when you team up.
As long as you got the gist.
Yep, if that's the trial, I'm up for it.
How could Maltran do this?
There are Hellions in the Roland's Imperial family. It isn't all that strange to imagine Hellions amongst the Knights of Highland as well.
Or as a Hellion in life goes the theory. I guess we have more evidence for that now.
But who would agree with the thoughts of the Lord of Calamity?
It isn't really as strange as you make it sound. Azura himself was a shepherd, as you know.
And he thought the same way.
In order to save the people and to begin anew, he would destroy everything. It's a pitfall that can trap all humans who let malevolence get the best of them.
Yes.
How am I gonna break it to Alicia?
Does she really need to know?
It might be worse for her not to find out at this point.
But Maltran said she no longer had any use for Alicia.
I suppose we ought to believe her. It wouldn't make sense for her to reveal her true self to us otherwise.
Seems to me the biggest issue is she'd been Alicia's rock through all this chaos, right?
Good point. If Alicia finds that out, not only has she lost her one pillar of support, but that pillar's been using her the entire time. She could fall apart.
That might be exactly what Maltran wants.
She's probably thinking she can get the war rolling for good by crushing Alicia's spirit.
What should I do?